Thomas and the Colours. All the engines on Sodor enjoy pulling carriages. Taking passengers makes them feel proud and useful. The Fat Controller had an important announcement to make. "Today is the day of the big football match," he boomed. "The Sodor school team will play a team from the mainland." All the engines were very excited. "Whoever finishes their jobs first will pull the Sodor team." Last year, James had pulled the Sodor team. His carriages had been decorated with ribbons and flags. Everyone had cheered. This year, Thomas wanted to pull the Sodor team carriages. He was going to try hard to finish his jobs first. Soon Thomas's work was done. He was sure he'd finish first, and he steamed proudly to the yards. But when he puffed into the yards, there was James. James had finished all his jobs first. "Cinders and ashes!" cried Thomas. Percy collected
"Look, Thomas,"
the cakes and
puffed
buns.
James proudly. "Don't these flags look wonderful on me?"
Thomas was
there were
upset.
lots of
But
jobs
you
to
pulled the
do."
team carriages last year, he huffed.
"And I'm pulling them again this year," snorted
Percy
James,
collected
"because
the
I finished
cakes
all
and
my
buns.
jobs and I got to the yard
I
first."
could take the sticky toffee to the party. Thomas was very happy.
well,"
said the Fat Controller.
"But no more trying to be in fancy dress."
Soon all the soapy bubbles were cleaned off Thomas, and he puffed away. "I must get the sticky toffee to the children on time," Thomas puffed. But he started to think about fancy dress again. Thomas puffed up to the airport. And there, on the runway, was Jeremy the jet. "That's it," chuffed Thomas. "I would look grand if I arrived at the party as an aeroplane." Thomas watched Jeremy zoom up into the sky. He thought about his costume for the party. He thought about it for a very long time. "Oh no! I've been daydreaming," chuffed Thomas, "and now I'm late." Thomas puffed as fast as he could, but he wasn't watching where he was going. Thomas didn't notice that the points had been changed. Thomas puffed into the sidings and biffed into the buffers. Sticky toffee splattered everywhere.
The flatbed is old, so
"Oh
take care."
no," moaned Thomas.
Yes,
"I
sir.
can't give the children
Whistled
train
Thomas.
rides when I'm this
The
messy.
covering on the flatbed is
If
old,
only
so
I'd been
take
thinking
care.
about what I was
He added.
doing."
Yes, sir, whistled
Then
Thomas.
Thomas saw
The couple
arrived
arrived
at the
at
Scottish
Scottish
This
Castle.
gave him an idea.
There.
"A short," puffed Thomas proudly. "Isn't it wonderful?" "It's very nice," chuffed Skarloey. "But we have a castle in the mountains." "Then I'll show you Shen Valley," puffed Thomas. Thomas and Skarloey puffed through the flowery fields and the green meadows of Shen Valley. "There," whistled Thomas grandly. "It's very nice," chuffed Skarloey. "But we have green valleys in the mountains." Thomas felt sad. He wanted Skarloey to have a big day out. He had to find something that Skarloey had never seen before. "I know," puffed Thomas. "I'll show you the view from the top of Gordon's Hill." Henry the roller coaster, Gordon the fairground. So Thomas huffed and puffed up Gordon's Hill.
James and
Skarloey was very heavy.
And Thomas,
The old flatbed
Edward was
coupling
to pull the
creaked and
merry-go-round.
groaned. But
Hen,
still
the
Thomas
roller coaster.
puffed and chuffed as
Gordon,
hard
the
as he could.
fairground folk.
Toby, the bumper
Then
car.
there was trouble.
railway can't
Just as
run
he got
without
to the
coal.
top of the hill,
He
the
added.
coupling came.
This is a very important job.
The Fat Controller left, and all the engines were excited. All except Percy. Coal, he sighed. And as he watched his friends leave for their exciting jobs, Percy felt very left out. Percy chuffed sadly over to the coal plant. This didn't feel like an important job at all. When Percy arrived, he could see a long line of trucks.
I wish I was pulling something exciting.
Grumbled Percy.
Not boring old coal trucks.
Percy buffered up and pulled out of the depot. Percy stopped at a signal by a school. Toby puffed past pulling flatbeds full of bumper cars. The children in the playground clapped and cheered. Then Edward chuffed by with the merry-go-round. The children cheered even louder. Percy thought that Toby and Edward were having a wonderful tunnel.
Are you feeling all right?
Asked Gordon.
I didn't get my special coal this morning, coughed Henry. My firebox feels funny.
But then it was time for Gordon to leave.
Hooray for Gordon, wheezed Henry. You'll set a new record for sure.
Gordon could see Knapford Station up ahead. The Fat Controller was there. Gordon was on time and going to set a new record. But Gordon's bad feeling was now so strong, he thought his boiler would burst. Gordon slowed to a halt. "You're going to be late," cried his driver.
I don't care.
Whistled Gordon, and he started to reverse. Gordon soon reached Henry. Henry had stopped for a rest. He was surprised to see Gordon.
I took your special coal this morning, puffed Gordon. I wanted to go faster than ever. I'm very sorry. But now I have a good idea.
Back onto the track.
Gordon and Henry swapped tenders. Soon, Henry's firebox
Edward,
was full of special
He will
coal.
only get in the way.
Henry felt just then Percy arrived. He was also very excited to see the new crane.
He's not very useful,
Boomed Gordon. He will only get in the way, echoed Edward.
Newfangled nonsense.
Wheezed Gordon, and he chuffed off.
What a newfangled nuisance, Edward,
Peeped Percy. Newfangled nonsense, Percy, puffed Edward as grandly as he could. It's something that is new and not really useful. Edward's trucks were right by the new crane. My name's Rocky. The crane smiled at Edward. I'm Edward, puffed Edward. Can I come with you? Asked Rocky. I could help you with those heavy pipes. I don't need your help, sniffed Edward. Newfangled nonsense. And he puffed off quickly before the pipes had been properly tied down. Edward was approaching a signal. He was thinking about Rocky, and he was going too fast. Suddenly, the signal changed to red. Edward screeched to a stop, but the sides of the trucks collapsed. Steel pipes toppled all over the tracks. Bust my buffers, puffed Edward. He looked at the heavy pipes and wondered what to do, tooted Thomas. Thomas had said Rocky
That's
was very...
exciting.
Peeped Percy.
Toby must be very happy.
He didn't look very happy when I told him, huffed Thomas.
Maybe he likes his old roof, chuffed Percy.
Well, I'm going to show Toby that his new roof will be the best new roof ever. Later, Thomas picked up the timber for Toby's new roof. He showed it to Toby.
Alice's mother has telephoned for help.
Look at this
Rosie
lovely
told
new
Thomas.
timber, Toby.
Edward is on
He
his way to
tooted.
pull you out.
Toby looked worried.
Alice's mother has telephoned
I'm off
for
to
help.
Alsdale End,
Rosie told
wheezed
Thomas.
Thomas, so that the
Edward is on his
workmen
way
can
to
start
pull you
straight
out.
away. Toby
Alice's
wanted to
mother
say
has
something,
telephoned for
but
help.
before he
Rosie
could,
told
Thomas whistled.
Edward
I'm
is on
sure
his
you'll
way to
like it
pull
when
you
it's
out.
all done. And
Alice's
Thomas
mother has
chuffed away.
telephoned for help. Rosie told Thomas. Thomas
In no
didn't want to
time
let
at all,
Alice down.
Toby's
High
roof...
winds don't bother me,
he puffed.
or me, chuffed Rosie. I'll come as your back engine.
But Thomas didn't want Rosie to come.
No, thank you, Rosie, he huffed firmly. I'll manage on my own.
And he chuffed quickly away. But Rosie liked Thomas very much, and she wanted to help, so she chuffed cheekily after him. Thomas puffed along the line to High Farm. The sky grew darker and darker. Soon it was pouring with rain. Thomas's pistons pumped and his boiler bubbled. It was hard work. Rosie can't follow me now, he thought. She isn't strong enough. Thomas was wrong. Rosie's pistons were pumping and a boiler was bubbling right behind him. She whistled cheerfully to Thomas. Thomas was very annoyed.
He must go as fast as Gordon's Express. Jordan's Express. He must go as fast as Gordon's
Soon
Express.
Thomas came to a junction.
Jordan's
One way
Express.
was the longer, easy way to High Farm.
must go
The other
as
way was
fast
shorter
as Gordon's
and much
Express.
harder.
Grumbling trucks waiting
Thomas
to be
knew that
shunted.
the longer way was...
That's it. James is to shunt lots of trucks, so he must be as busy as a bee.
Finally, Percy and Thomas arrived at Maithwaite Station.
Toby must pull Gordon's Express, wheezed Percy.
Suddenly, Percy saw a group of visitors waiting on the platform.
That's it, Percy cried. Toby is to take the visitors to the Scottish castle. He has to go as fast as Gordon's Express.
Thomas didn't
Well
see Gallagher's
done,
catch on
Thomas puffed happily.
The snowman. It's a snowman.
By the end of the day, all of the engines were doing the right jobs.
Thomas didn't see the Gallagher's catch on his buffalo. The snowman.
That evening, the fat
Snowman.
controller came to the shed, puffed Thomas quietly.
You have done
Thomas
very well,
chuffed
Percy.
into a lonely siding. He couldn't see the snowman. I think Mr. Snowman has gone back to the children, Thomas tooted. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew hard. Mr. Snowman danced in front of Thomas again. He was still following him. I must tell the fat controller what has happened, cried Thomas. I need his help. And Thomas raced off. Thomas puffed back into Maithwaite Station. Farmer McColl and the fat controller were there.
Please, sir, peeped Thomas. I don't know what to do. I've tried to tell Mr. Snowman to go back to the children, but he has followed me everywhere.
And he still is,
Laughed the fat controller.
The snowman is a balloon, Thomas, and he is caught on your buffers. He is following you because you are pulling him.
A balloon, whistled Thomas. I thought snowmen were always made of snow. Thomas felt very happy. Now he could take Mr. Snowman back to the children.
They were going to need
The children were delighted to see Thomas and Mr. Snowman. They cheered and cheered.
To the thing controller.
And Thomas
The
was
thing
very
controller
happy to
listened
have
hard.
returned. "You have caused delay and confusion," he said slowly. "But you have told the truth, and a useful engine always tells the truth."
I'll only be really useful if I can help James, whistled Duncan.
So Duncan collected one of the coal trucks he had hidden. Snow started to fall. Duncan rattled along the icy tracks until at last Duncan found James.
What are you doing here?
Snorted James.
I played a trick on you, chuffed Duncan. I didn't take all the coal to the villages. I hid it from you. You are the fastest and a really useful engine.
White striped windsock. Then he heard a loud noise in the sky. A jet plane was coming in to land. Thomas thought it looked very splendid. Thomas chuffed over to the hangar. "Hello," peeped Thomas. "I'm Thomas and I'm a tank engine." "Hello," said the plane. "I'm Jeremy and I'm a jet plane."
It must be wonderful being able to fly, said Thomas.
"It is," said Jeremy. "I can go anywhere I want. Flying is the most fun in the world." Thomas thought Jeremy was being boastful. "I like travelling on tracks," Thomas huffed. "I puff past farms and villages and see all the wonderful sights of Sodor." Thomas had to wait at a signal. "Well, from the air, I see the..." up. He had picked up the visitors Thomas had left behind. Bertie honked his horn, but the signal had changed, and Thomas puffed away. Thomas was in a hurry. "Silly tank engine," parped Bertie. "I will have to chase after you." The children on board Bertie thought a chase was great fun. Thomas arrived at Black Lock. "Everyone out to see the seals," he tooted. "Hurry up, hurry up." The visitors took their cameras to see Black Lock. Thomas had to wait. He didn't like waiting. He had to show the visitors all the sights. "Otherwise," he thought, "I won't be as fast as Gordon." "Time to go," he peeped loudly. Thomas heard a carriage door slam. Everyone must be on board, he thought, and Thomas chuffed away as fast as he could. But Thomas had left more of the visitors behind. Soon Thomas arrived at the Scottish castle. "Everyone out," he peeped. "Hurry up, hurry up." Then Thomas had to wait again. He wheezed some steam, and he started to worry. "We'll never see everything if we don't hurry up," Thomas wheezed. "Everyone back on board, please." Just then, Gordon steamed in. "Of sand, flatten my funnel," Percy sniffed Gordon. "Yes, I could," chuffed Henry. "You could pull 20 trucks of coal," wheezed Emily. "I suppose so," hooted Henry. "You could pull 50 trucks," wheezed Thomas, "of iron and steel, because you're Big Strong Henry." "Big Strong Henry?" huffed Gordon. "What nonsense!" "You'll see," tooted Thomas. "Pah!" Gordon wheezed grandly, and he set off to fetch the bricks, concrete and iron for Farmer McColl. Henry had delivered his empty trucks.
How can I show Gordon that I am big and strong? He steamed sadly.
Then Henry saw Percy.
Look, Henry, puffed Percy, if Gordon sees you pulling 5 heavy trucks, he'll see just how strong you are.
Henry backed up. He pulled the trucks out of the sidings.
Look how strong Henry is, Gordon, peeped Percy. Put those trucks back, Gordon wished. Those are for Farmer McCall. I'm collecting them later.
Its beak will told them that there were 3 clues.
He's not as strong as you are, big strong Henry,
puffed Percy.
Its beak will told
Henry smiled.
First, find the eagle of the mountains. Its beak
I
will
like
hold
being
the
big,
3
strong Henry.
Henry
First,
thought.
and there you'll find the treasure, me ass.
Henry's eagle? Clouds? Skull and crossbones? Tooted Thomas excitedly. I'm sure I could solve those clues. Emily and James thought it was all nonsense, and that made Thomas cross. Just then the Admiral arrived. Thomas puffed off to collect him. The Admiral had to be at the museum in time for the grand opening. Thomas felt very proud to be taking him.
Duncan didn't listen. He rattled on.
The track was getting bumpier, and the bell. What if I arrived with the Admiral and a chest of pirate treasure?
But still
thought
Duncan
Thomas.
didn't listen.
That would show James and Emily.
He rattled on.
So Thomas chuffed onto the track
was
away
getting
from the
bumpier.
museum
And the
and
bell
set off
Duncan
into the
went
mountains
faster.
to look
The
for the
bell
first
chimed
clue.
louder.
With every bump and bend, it rattled and rang, it tinkled and clanged. Duncan liked the sound of this even more than the sound of his wheels. He was having a wonderful time. Whee! He wheeshed, and the bell rang louder and louder. Slow down, called Rusty. But Duncan didn't hear.
Hooray! Duncan hooted.
Take care, chuffed Skarloey.
Whoosh! Whooped Duncan.
The bell will come loose, puffed Micey Mac. But still Duncan didn't listen. He rattled on. The track was getting bumpier, and the bell chimed louder. Hurry up and uncouple these slate trucks, wheezed Rheneas. You're in a hurry, Rheneas, tooted Thomas. I am, wheezed Rheneas, but I can't tell you why. It's a surprise. And as soon as his slate trucks were uncoupled, Rheneas puffed away again. Now he had to collect Skarloey's coal trucks. Then there was trouble. When Rheneas arrived at the siding, the trucks weren't there. Flatten my funnel, gasped Rheneas. Where have they gone? Rheneas was sure this was where he had left them. I must find Skarloey's trucks, he whistled, and Rheneas puffed quickly away. Rheneas searched high and low for the missing coal trucks, but they were nowhere to be found. Rheneas was upset. Rheneas stopped at a signal. Skarloey puffed up. He looked very unhappy. My coal trucks have disappeared, Skarloey cried. If I don't find them, I will have to go to the depot and tell the thin controller.
Puff Freddy.
Rheneas watched Skarloey puff sadly away.
But Freddy didn't
I
want
wanted
to
to
lose.
surprise Skarloey,
Then
Rheneas
Freddy
sighed,
remembered another
but
old
I've only
track.
made things worse.
The craggy track.
Rheneas
steady,
felt
go!
terrible, whistled Skarloey. Freddy raced along. Rheneas and Skarloey tried to catch up with him, but Freddy was racing very fast until he began to run out of puff. Oh no, those young engines will bump my buffers, he chuffed sadly. Suddenly he remembered an old track. The old rocky way, he wished. No one will remember that now. Rheneas and Skarloey didn't see Freddy go a different way. He didn't know whether
This way's much quicker,
puffed Freddy.
I'll be at the bottom in no time.
Freddy rejoined the main track. Soon, Freddy was at the bottom of the hill.
He didn't know whether to
Did it,
puff
puffed
left
Freddy. Those
right.
young engines couldn't catch me.
He didn't know whether to puff
You're
right.
so fast.
If I
wished
go through the
Rheneas.
cutting, I won't see the shooting star,
He wished.
so Thomas backed up and went another way.
Thomas's journey was getting even longer, and it was even later.
And with no electricity on the island,
Sodor was darker than ever.
at Tidmouth's sheds, the engines were all still thinking about their wishes. All except Percy. He was worried about his friend. Thomas should be back by now, he peeped sadly. Where is he? But the engines didn't know where Thomas was. And neither did Thomas. He could hardly see anything. He didn't know whether to puff left, or right, or up, or down. Now he wasn't thinking about the shooting star. He was thinking about the power station.
But he couldn't.
If
see
I had
anything.
taken the quickest way, the lights would be fixed by now,
into the
cried
canal.
Tom.
Oh no, the Fat Controller's tree, cried Thomas. It's not a tree, Thomas, whistled Skarloey. That's what I was trying to tell you. It's a load of pipes. Thomas's cheeks turned red. Sir Handel delivered the tree this morning, Skarloey added.
So only he knows where it is, puffed Duncan.
Thomas was a big engine, but he couldn't have felt smaller, and he couldn't have felt sillier. The quayside cranes lifted the pipes out of the water. Thomas was worried. It was getting later and later. Thomas knew there was only one engine that could help him, and that was Sir Handel. He chuffed quickly away. Thomas had to find him and ask where the tree was before it was too late. Thomas's boiler bubbled and his axles ached as he raced towards the transfer yards. He thought Sir Handel would be there.
Time to do all of them.
Yes, and Thomas was right. Sir Handel was there.
You will have time to do all of them.
I've been a very silly engine, Thomas wished.
Finished early,
I didn't want to listen to you.
he
I
said,
thought I knew better than the little
three
engines.
important
but I-
specials. As you have finished early, you will have time to do all of them.
Yes, sir, puffed Toby. But Toby was worried. He liked being useful, but 3 jobs would take him the rest of the day. Now he would have no time to go to the farm. Toby puffed off. He felt sad. But then he had an idea. Perhaps he could get everything done in time. All I need is some help with just one of my jobs. I'll ask one of my friends. Toby's first job was to shunt some trucks at the yards. As he arrived, he saw Mavis. Mavis will help me, he thought. Sorry, Toby, no time to talk, Mavis puffed, and she steamed past him. Toby was upset. He had been sure Mavis would help him. I'll just have to shunt the trucks on my own, he puffed sadly. The Fat Controller was
going to present them to Gordon. The Fat Controller was going to present
Toby had to collect. Emily raced to Knapford with Gordon's special coaches. Now she wanted Diesel to feel special too. As she puffed into Knapford station, Emily had an idea. She told the Fat Controller all about Diesel's record and about her idea to make Diesel feel special. The Fat Controller listened carefully.
That's a very good idea, Emily,
He said,
Tell Diesel to come here this afternoon.
Emily found Diesel. She told him he had to go to Knapford. Then Emily raced off to collect Diesel's surprise. Later at Knapford station, the Fat Controller presented Gordon with his special coaches.
Don't my coaches look splendid?
Puffed Gordon proudly. Everyone agreed. Just then, Emily puffed into the station. And this new diesel motor is for you, Diesel, chuffed Emily. Diesel was surprised. I'm sorry I didn't listen, said Emily. Now I know that Diesels and Steamies are both special. Everyone cheered for Gordon and Diesel.